You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football Podcast. My name is Ahmet Turgut. Welcome to a brand new edition of Turkish Football Podcast. Next 15 minutes, we'll talk about what happened in the last Saturday night in Connecticut between United States national team against Turkey. This was a match that Turkey won the first time in the United States soil. So I have a very, very special guest on my podcast today, and his name is Micheal Lewis. He's a renowned soccer writer, editor, and author, and he's also the writer for Front Row Soccer. He has articles published in New York Times and Forbes. Mr. Lewis, welcome to Turkish Soccer Podcast.
Great to be on, Ahmed. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for being with me, and then we'll dip into this match that we watched together. As you know, I was there, you were there, and the match went before it started. I want to talk about the fan fest outside of the stadium. Even though it was raining study, all these fans from Turkish Americans, also American fans, came filled that 34,000 stadium. People watched this match, but the fan, even though it was raining, that fan fest was something to see. I went around. I don't know if you had the chance. Talk about this. I think United States is one of the countries that does best when it comes to the fan festivals.
Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to see everything that was happening outside the stadium as you did. But the thing about, to me, it's all about having fun at the games, not just in the stadium, but outside as well. And you got to enjoy yourself. This is a big, big deal, especially how rare is it when your favorite national team comes to states or to town, and
Right.
you partake in an all day. It's literally an all day thing, just because it takes a year and a day to get in and out of the stadium. Sometime I wound up, by the way, parking in a regular parking zone because I couldn't get close to the press zone. Not the end of the world, because I got a chance to see fans around my car. Unfortunately, no kid kicked a ball into my windshield or anything like that. But as I left the stadium, or as I got to my car, there were a bunch of fans having, let's say, a mini barbecue literally next to my car, and I spoke with them for a while, and they enjoyed themselves for the day. Maybe not the game; they were a bunch of U.S. fans. But one thing I've learned, I guess in general, is life is too short not to enjoy the moment. And I don't care what team you root for or country you root for. Have fun doing it. Don't get on the other's case. If you have a good friend who's on the other side, teasing is okay. I've done that when I was much younger, when I was a fan. But enjoy the day, and be proud of your country.
Yeah.
And yes, Turkey. I thought were deserved winners on Saturday. I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself here, but I'd like to think fans of both national teams enjoyed themselves.
Right. Now, let's go on the pitch. The game started with the rain, slippery field, and both of the teams have goalkeepers, first time getting the national team uniform. And in the first minute, very young player, he's probably the future of United States national team. Most likely he will be transferred to Europe. Jack McLean. What a shot he took from outside of 18-yard line. 1-0 at the first minute. What do you think about the goal?
A beautiful goal. It's funny. I've been a journalist for, I hate to say this, over 5 decades, and I don't care who does it on the field. I enjoy a beautiful play or a goal. And if a Turkey player did it, I would say, wow, what a goal. I live for these moments. And it's funny. Jack McGlynn comes from a club near where I live on Long Island called BW Kachi. I'm familiar with the way they teach players there, and it's about being one with the ball. And I've known his father for a number of years, and I've done stories about Jack. And it doesn't surprise me that he's able to produce at the international level. And the big thing now is, as good as that goal was, and I don't expect him to double up in it or get a brace in an international match, but how consistent can he be to break into the international, the national team side on a regular basis? Because the U.S. needs finishers, and I know it happened 59 seconds into the match. But it'll be intriguing to see how he moves on and how he improves over the game against Switzerland, and hopefully in the Gold Cup as well too. We'll see. But
yeah, we looked at the first half of the match. I think first 20 minutes, as I was talking to you before. I think United States, USA looked much better than Turkey. I think Turkey was lost on the pitch because first time they did not have their starters on the midfield. Hakan Çalhanoğlu just played the European Championship match, and he was injured. That's why he didn't make the team. He didn't come to the United States. Instead, first time the Real Madrid young star Arda Güler played number 10. And first 20 minutes, even though Turkish coach Vincenzo Montella said that first 10 minutes they were not looking good, but I think I asked this question to him and said, "You made a mistake. I think the first 20 minutes that Turkey was out of the pitch. So first 20 minutes, I saw United States was better than Turkey."
I agree with you, no doubt about it, and I give credit to Montella hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, because I have been known to butcher names. I haven't started a
It's
war
okay.
yet, though.
You're good.
But I give him credit for seeing what was transpiring on the field and finding a way to correct things quickly enough that could help turn a game around. Because soccer, like many other sports, it's a game of adjustments. If things aren't working well, and especially when a team has better possession and is pushing forward, you've got to find a way either on the field with the players
Yeah.
or change your tactics or positioning as best you can. And after that, we all know what happened. Turkey scored.
Two quick mistakes in the
Right.
week. I mean, the minute 24 and 27. In 3 minutes, Turkey has scored because of the mistakes by United States defense. U.S. national team just poorly defended those two goals. What do you think?
Oh, no doubt about it. For the first one was a gift. I mean, I might have been able to put it in because it's sort of like
Well,
uh,
actually, there
deflected
was
in.
not even a kick. I think the ball just hit Arda Güler's knee or leg.
And I think I called it in my story a blunder because that's what it was. There's different ways to describe a mistake, an error, and to me that's a blunder because you're just giving it to them.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised Cardoso didn't get an assist on the play. My
Well,
attempt at humor there, but
here's Cardoso. Well, he made a very bad decision the way that he kicked the ball. He tried to kick it with the outside of his foot, and he couldn't make that kick. Then the ball went to Arda. So that's what happened. And after that, another huge mistake by the defense again, and Kerem Aktürkoğlu in the penalty box area. Then came in and then scored a goal, second goal in 27 minutes.
Going back to that first goal and even the second goal, to me, Cardoso kept the ball too long. I guess I'm kind of like old school sometimes when you got the ball in the penalty area. Get it the hell out of there any way you can, even if you send it to the midfield.
Right.
The second one, just poor clearance. The U.S. could not clear it. And
Right.
to me, you don't have to be fancy. Just get the ball out of the danger zone. That's a lesson learned, a hard lesson learned because it turned into a goal for the U.S. Hopefully they're going to take that lesson and not make similar mistakes in the Gold Cup coming up because a friendly is one thing.
Yeah.
But a competition, that's how players and teams are graded on. So we'll see what transpires. But hey, Turkey, give them credit. Some teams won't put away those chances.
Right.
Okay, the first one was difficult not to, but the second one, and they did well.
Who plays for Benfica? He's also will be in this tournament coming up, starting June 14th, I believe, in the United States with Benfica. Already, his team is practicing in Florida. After the second half, I think United States national team had more chances, especially in the very last minutes of the match, and they had pretty good chances with a header and then goalkeeper saved it. But I think that instead of hitting that header to the corners, and United States young player, made a bad choice, hit it right to the goalkeeper. The match ended 2-1, but I want to mention, I know our time is very short here for 15 minutes. I want to talk about the United States coach, Mauricio Pochettino, and this was his third loss. What do you think? I know he's under a lot of pressure. What do you think about the coach?
Personally, I like him. He seems to be an amiable gentleman. He really doesn't have much time to get this team together. I mean, I know he took the coaching reins last September, but that's still not enough time when you are coaching the host country of a World Cup or one of three host countries of the upcoming World Cup.
Right.
The team that the U.S. had obviously was not anywhere near the A team because they were missing several key players.
Correct.
Saying that, you got to put a team out there and use not necessarily what you want to use, but what do you have from the players that you will use that system for that particular game or tournament or whatever.
Right.
I'm trying to be optimistic. I'd like to think he could turn this particular team into a squad that can go deep into the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Pochettino definitely has a lot of good coaching credentials, but we have to remember this is the first time he's coaching a national team.
Right.
And coaching a national team is so much different than a club team.
Right.
Club team, you've got a game either next Wednesday or next week, and there's always another game, and you could fine-tune things right then and there. National team, as we all know, you get the players that are healthy and who are available to play, and you're playing once every few months. Different situation. I just sometimes wonder if Pochettino has totally embraced I think he's embraced being a national team coach, but just getting used to that. Hey, you don't have these players all the time. That's a hell of a transition for every coach.
For any national team coaches. They don't have the players all the time. Now, lastly, Mr. Lewis, I want to ask you about tonight's game. I know USA plays against Switzerland before Turkey faces Mexico in North Carolina. And what do you think about? And by the way, the United States national team is playing. Switzerland coach is Turkish coach. Will be United States will be facing. What do you think about Mexico? You follow Mexico in the World Cups in the United States. You have more knowledge of Mexican national team than me. What do you think the match will be happening tonight? That is Mexico better than Turkey?
I don't think Mexico is better than Turkey. I put Mexico more or less on this, in general, on the same plane as the U.S. and Canada. At one time, Mexico dominated CONCACAF. Then it was the U.S.'s time too. Then Mexico came back again, and now I think Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. are more or less on the same platform. It's whoever comes out for the game. I don't. It's funny. I once feared. This is me as a writer looking at things logically. I once feared Mexico. I don't fear them anymore. I'm not saying they're bad. They just don't have the same reputation or players. Of course, they'll probably prove me wrong. But if you're asking me for, I guess, an unofficial prediction, I think Turkey should be able to at least get a draw, if not beat Mexico.
And
Again,
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Obviously it depends on which players are put out for both teams.
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say because Turkey might have a bunch of young guys that did not play in the first match against the United States national team. So overall, I know it's going to be a two good friendly match for Turkish national team. And before, I think they want to get the feeling of playing matches in the United States just before 2026 World Cup. But they have to make it to a World Cup. We'll see. Turkey hasn't been in the World Cup since 2002. And my good friend Alex Lloyd, and you probably remember we used to have the local show here. We did talk about the U.S. national team, Turkey, and especially that match when they captured the third place back in 2002. I hope they make it, but with these young stars, they playing in Europe. Kenan Yıldız, Kerem Aktürkoğlu, Arda Güler, Barış Alper Yılmaz, these players, and very immature, experienced players like Hakan Çalhanoğlu. If they make it, they will make it with these players, but they have a very long period in front of them because they have to go through the groups. Their first match coming up in September, October, and November. They will be really busy. Mr. Lewis, I want to thank you for being part of this Turkish football podcast, coming to my podcast. I really enjoyed talking to you. Let's do this more, talk more about soccer in general, because you're probably one of the best soccer writers in the United States. I always said this. I respect you, and I know you for a long time from Rochester Lancers days. God willing, give you a healthy life, and we'll see you next time. And your last words to a Turkish football podcast.
Well, first of all, to you as well. Thank you very much for having me on and for the kind words. And I'd love to be on in the future when you think it's necessary to talk about soccer, whether it's the U.S., Turkey, or international, or the international game of football.
Sure. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we had special guest on Turkish Football Podcast, Mr. Micheal Lewis. Go read his articles. He's also at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Micheal Lewis, the probably the oldest soccer writer right now in the United States. Thank you very much again. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.